Hello there, Alaskans, wherever you are. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Very, very good. Well, welcome everybody to the Must Read Alaska Show, a special Thursday edition and coming to you live from Fairbanks, Alaska. And it's just a special time up here. It's an incredibly beautiful day. I'm sort of broadcasting from a very nice little hotel room here at the Westmark, where there are about 350 people here for the Republican Convention, the state convention, not the national convention. We wish. We'd love to have the national convention up here. And there are about 350 Republicans from all over Alaska here. And we are very, very fortunate today, John Quick, my co-host, because we have a special guest. We're going to introduce her in a minute. But first of all, we do want to thank our show sponsor. Can you do that for us, John?
Yeah, we want to thank Charlie Pierce for governor for sponsoring our show. Because of his sponsorship, we're able to get conservative news through all the nooks and crannies of Alaska and really have folks in the lower 48 hear about what we're doing in Alaska as well. We have one of the top ranked podcasts in the government section in the entire US, and that's because of people like you that listen. And we're very fortunate to have a very exciting rock star-ish guest today, which I'll let Suzanne talk about that.
Yeah, without further ado. So today on our show, everybody, and we're broadcasting live on Facebook, and of course later when we get this finished, we will be posting this up on Podbean, and John has this up on Pandora and Apple iTunes and Google Play and all the other fancy things that he's able to do. But we appreciate you joining us here on Facebook for the show. Ronna McDaniel, who is the chair of the Republican National Committee, is with us today. Welcome to the show, Ronna.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you, and I'm so excited to be here in Alaska. Such a beautiful day in your great state.
It's a beautiful day. I just finished that drive myself. Now, Ronna, you are driving up to Fairbanks, and you just got in range, so you just got enough bars to be able to do this. We have your screen black because you're bouncing through those frost heaves through Esther, Alaska and Anderson, Alaska, and the road gets really, really bumpy. And so we thought, well, we better just make your screen go black, or everybody who's on Facebook today will get seasick. So because you're just bouncing along there as I did. And we're just happy that you could join us from your car. And you're here to do the keynote for the Alaska Republican Convention. I will tell you, I don't remember when a chair of the National Committee has been here for one of our state conventions. So you are extremely welcome here, and people are so excited. This is one of the biggest crowds we've had for a Republican state convention. So thank you for showing up. And I wanted to ask you just a few questions about what's really cooking at the RNC right now. I mean, you'll be talking about this, but maybe give us a little bit of a preview about what's really hot. What are the hot topics at the Republican National Committee right now?
Well, I think we're all watching the disaster of the Biden administration. I think in Alaska, you're seeing firsthand the downfall of his open border policy with the drug epidemic and fentanyl crossing our border and certainly coming to Alaska, and his energy policy shutting down drilling, which has caused gas prices to go so high. And of course, in Alaska, you feel that more than anyone because of home heating costs and the things that are happening here because of the failures of the Biden administration. So what we're talking about right now at the RNC is, how do we win it back? How do we win back the midterms in November and take back the House and the Senate? And I know every night I dream about retiring Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yeah, well, I do too. I mean, I can't believe it. We're probably in each other's dreams. That's just amazing. Well, these are issues that are extremely important to Alaskans. Obviously, the drug crisis has led to large crime waves here, a lot of despair, and a lot of people who are very dysfunctional, who've been made dysfunctional through these drugs coming across our border. And also, we did a poll just about a week ago with a Remington Research Group, And we find that our voters in Alaska are extremely concerned about election integrity. It is their number 2 issue right after the economy. And we were surprised that that election integrity rated so high. But I know this is of concern to the Republican National Committee. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing there to address this around the country?
Absolutely. Election integrity is key. We saw during COVID a lot of states eliminate safeguards to protect our elections, like showing a voter ID to get an absentee ballot or to vote by mail. So it's been critical for us. We've been doing trainings across the country. We've done trainings in Alaska. We're recruiting election day workers, not just election day workers, but poll watchers as well. And we really need everyone to get engaged. And that's part of the reason I'm here. We need to keep the Senate seat in Alaska. We need to win the Don Young House seat. A lot of the things that are critical for the country are going to happen because of Alaska. And you've changed your voting system here to this ranked choice voting, which is new. And so we really need to work to educate voters. It's called Rank the Red. Everyone needs to vote Republican for your first, second, third, fourth choice. I don't care who it is. You just got to make sure that you're voting Republican up and down the ticket so that we make sure we don't turn any seat over to the Democrats in Alaska.
Well, that raises a good question about one of our more difficult races right now, which is our race between our senior senator and she's being primaried by an upstart Republican who's challenging her from the right. So Lisa Murkowski, as you know, is our senior senator, and Kelly Tshibaka is coming from the right and challenged her. The party in Alaska has censured Lisa, has asked her to leave the party and not run as a Republican, which she hasn't agreed to do. She's still running as a Republican. And they have gone ahead and endorsed Kelly Tshibaka at a rate of about 72% of the state central committee of the officers of the party voting to endorse Kelly Tshibaka over Senator Murkowski. Is this something that the Republican National Committee is going to get involved in at all?
So legally,
her mic just went out. There she
my
is.
mic.
Now
am
you're
I back?
Yes,
Okay.
you're back.
So legally, the RNC, the Republican National Committee, cannot get involved in primaries. It's part of our bylaws of our party. We're prohibited from getting involved in primaries, which allows us to help heal the wounds after the primary. So it's going to just be so important for Alaskans, whoever they come out and vote for, to make sure that their second, third, whatever choice they have on their ballot,
Oh, we lost her
that
again.
they make sure it's a Republican, to make sure that Republicans keep that seat and we retire Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. We have to take back control of the House and the Senate.
Well, I do. And I'm going to ask you a little bit about the numbers in a second, but it's a little trickier here because what we end up with is this open primary where we don't get to control, the Republicans don't get to control their ballot anymore, like we've been able to do since the 90s. We've been able to control our own ballot. So you were a Republican or not aligned with the party, you could vote our ballot. But if you were aligned with the Democrats, you could cross over and then start messing with our primary, right? Which is what they used to do. So that's been eliminated. But that means going forward after the primary, you can still have 2 or 3 Republicans showing up on the general election ballot. And I don't know what the RNC does when you're in that situation, because normally you're going to have one advance. Now you could have, for instance, in our congressional seat, we could have Sarah Palin advance, Nick Begich advance, Tara Sweeney advance. All 3 of those are Republican, and then we could have a Democrat. And how does the RNC going to deal with it after the primary?
So it's really key, not just for the RNC, but obviously your state party and people like you in your show. Thank you for what you're doing to educate voters. First of all, let me just start by saying I hate ranked choice voting. I think it's a terrible thing. I don't mean to criticize. I think it's a horrific mechanism of voting. And what it means is if the first candidate doesn't get over 50%, they start taking the last candidate and picking who their second choice was, their third choice was, until somebody gets over 50%. It's very convoluted. They have it in Maine as well. We won a Senate seat in Maine in 2020 with Susan Collins by learning how to educate our voters about ranked choice voting. And it's critical that Alaskans, Republicans, understand this process, that it's not just who you put first on the ballot. Your second, third, fourth choice will determine if we keep that seat. and Democrats may be more consolidated behind one candidate. We just need to be consolidated behind the Republican Party here.
Yeah, we've had some problems with our party fracturing because we're much more independent minded. We are not herd animals here in the
That is true.
in the Republican Party in Alaska. We are not herd animals at all. John, do you have any questions for our guest? John is our co-host. He's also the vice president of Must Read Alaska for business development, and he's on. By the way, just so you know, he's calling in from Nikiski. That's where he lives. That's on the Kenai Peninsula. It's bright red in Nikiski.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Ronna. I got a question for you. I'm sure you talk to just tons of people all over the U.S. What do you say to inspire the conservatives that are just kind of giving up hope? The guy or the gal that works a full-time job and just does their part in the community, but feels like our country is going to hell in a handbasket.
That's such a great question. And I hear that a lot. I mean, people are very discouraged with what's happened in the past year under the Biden administration. We're all dealing with inflation and gas prices and our kids, parents being cut out of our kids' education. I mean, on every single level, we've actually seen almost a reshaping of America in a short time frame. What I say is we're blessed. We're blessed to live in the United States of America. This is the greatest country on earth. Our freedoms are at stake. And if you don't get involved in this election, Democrats will win. And if you think the first year has been bad under Biden, imagine what the next three would be. So it's important that people get involved and engaged. The only vote that doesn't count is the one you don't cast. And I will just say this, I love this country. I feel blessed to live here every day. And I feel like right now we are on the front lines of determining the future for decades and for future generations. And I want to keep the America we know and love intact. And the Democrats want to change us into something that we won't recognize. So please get out and get involved. Find one candidate you believe in and get behind that candidate, or run yourself. Every single person can make a difference. And this is that type of election. We have a congressional seat in Iowa that we won in 2020. Miller Meeks, she won by 6 votes. So every vote matters. And we don't want to regret something after November and say, oh, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, if only I've known. This is the time to get involved. Be bold, get your neighbors involved, because literally our country is at stake. And Alaska knows that better than anybody. Energy independence is at stake. We should be tapping all of our natural resources instead of depending on Russia and Iran. Why aren't we doing more here in the great state of Alaska?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's a message that Alaskans would like to get to the rest of the country, which is we have the oil resources, but they've been shut down by the Biden administration and our very hostile court system, our court system that has been very hostile to our energy freedom, our economic freedom, and our way of life. Quite honestly, it's frightening sometimes. Talk to us a little bit about this. We saw this Quinnipiac poll that came out a couple days ago, I think, that said that Hispanics are leaving the Democratic Party in droves and they are joining the Republican Party, I think, is what I've read. And what is the RNC, what is the Republican National Committee doing to reach out to the Hispanics in America to make the case for our values and our party?
Thank you for asking about that. Yeah, not only the Quinnipiac poll show that Joe Biden is at a record low 33% approval, but it's showing that there's movement, massive movement from Hispanic voters from the Democrat to Republican Party. And why is that? Well, people who've come to this country legally usually came because they left something behind. They gave up everything. They came to this country. They believe in hard work. They believe in the American dream. They want a good education. And I've heard from many, many people, I left a country that didn't have religious freedom, that didn't have economic opportunity, that didn't have a police force, and didn't value me. And now I'm coming to America and I'm watching the Democrats trying to turn this country into the country I left. And so that's why we're seeing droves of Asian, Hispanic voters coming to our party. The RNC has had a sustained effort in many of these communities for the past year with offices open and really beginning a dialogue, sharing our story and what our party stands for with communities that have been habitually Democrat. And we're seeing movement. And the best example is Texas. We have 3 Hispanic women on the Republican side running for Congress just this cycle. And we're seeing that across the country.
Super exciting. Well, also I think that when you have Democrats who are saying things like we're going to go into a gender-free or post-gender society, and you're dealing with a culture that has a language that is very much based on
Correct.
gender identity in terms of like the L and Aya, everything is a male female in that country. It's really the Democratic Party is really out of sync with the values that Hispanics have that are really baked into their culture, baked into their language. So I also think that the Democrats have just gone so far left
No,
that it's
you're
ludicrous.
you're exactly right. They've started to use a phrase called Latinx
Oh
to eliminate
heavens!
the Latino or Latina or L or Aya, which is just key to the
Yeah,
language, the culture of the Latino community. And for the Democrats to try and eliminate something so key to their community and call everyone Latinx is just insulting.
it's
And
so
especially for people who believe in religious freedom, who want their kids to have an opportunity, and to see the Democrat Party try and eliminate that, it has had a huge backlash. On top of many Latino business owners or Hispanics are small business owners. They believe in economic opportunity, and they have been hurt so much by the supply chain issues and the labor shortages that we're seeing across this country. And they understand this is because of Joe Biden.
that's
This
it.
is
Yeah.
all because of policies being put by Democrats. And you know how we know it? Because it was so much better under Donald Trump. And everyone knows that just a year and a half ago, we had record low unemployment with Hispanic, Asian, Black Americans. Businesses were booming. We were seeing the middle class get pay raises at a record clip. And now all of that is falling behind because of Joe Biden. And we have 8.5% inflation, which means we're all being taxed and
Yeah.
hurt at a level that we've never seen.
It's killing us. I mean, with those of us in the middle class, we're really feeling it squeeze. Well, we've run out of your time. We know you're rolling into Anchorage, into Fairbanks right now, and that you've got a very busy schedule ahead of you. I'm at the hotel where the state convention is. Promise me that you'll let me take a selfie with you while you're here.
I would love that. No, you promised
Okay.
me. Let's get a selfie. I'm looking forward to
Okay.
it.
And we're gonna cut you free, and then we're gonna go ahead and roll the credits on the show. But thank you so much, and safe travels. We'll see you here in just a little while.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having
Yep.
me.
So for everybody
Okay.
who just joined us, that was Ronna McDaniel. She is the chairman of the Republican National Committee. She is just rolling into Fairbanks right now. She's here to give a keynote address tomorrow to the Fairbanks group here, which is the state Republican convention. It's a really exciting time up here, John. There are so many people here who are activists from around the state. I saw Edie Grunwald. She's manning the table there for the Charlie Pierce, Edie Grunwald for governor and lieutenant governor table. Chris Kirka has a table here for his campaign for governor. I have not seen a table from the governor. I don't think the governor has a table, but
He'll be walking around tall though.
yeah. But the thing is he's already been endorsed by the party, and also he is
He's doing this.
Yeah, he's doing the keynote. He's doing the keynote address, and so he's already, he's the guy. And I believe that in addition to Ronna McDaniel giving a keynote address, there's going to be an address from Dan Sullivan. He's up here as well. It's very interesting that Deb Haaland is traveling around Alaska right now. She went out to King Cove today or was it yesterday with Governor Dunleavy. And with, I believe that Senator Murkowski went out there with them. They're trying to make the case to her that road is a critical, life-saving road, and it is. And then Deb Haaland made an announcement today, and there's a story up on Must Read Alaska about how they are going to finally give the native allotment to the Vietnam-era veterans. The ones that went to Vietnam when there was a land allotment, they missed getting the land allotment because they were fighting for America. And when they came back, they never were able to get the door had closed. So this is 50-year coming to them. Many of them have died already. It's a national tragedy. It's shameful. But anyway, she made the announcement today that she's finally going to get off her butt and make sure those land allotments go through. So we can thank her for that. And I will be here. So if everybody's up in Fairbanks, stop by and say hi. I'll be here for a couple days. I'll be leaving here on Saturday. But we just really want to thank everybody for joining us today, and especially thank you to the Charlie Pierce for Governor campaign. We really appreciate the support that we get from Charlie Pierce for Governor for this show. Makes it possible for me to get up here to Fairbanks and to broadcast live from the state convention and the Republican state convention. You'll be hearing a lot more about stuff online at www.mustreadalaska.com. Anything else you got for us, John?
No, but I just think it's exciting that she was on our podcast, and that, it's an exciting time for Alaska, even though, it's not every day we get the Republican national chairwoman up here. And,
I don't think we've ever had her. I don't think we've ever
never.
had her. I don't think the chair of the Republican National Committee has ever come to Alaska for one of our conventions.
And she is a force to be reckoned with. She was an early supporter of Donald Trump and got a lot of flack for it, and still maintained the support, even though she got flack for it. So she's in a good company here in Alaska.
Yeah, she's really strong. She's very, very strong. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. You know that Nick Begich is here for Congress. You know that Sarah Palin is going to make an appearance there. I believe Josh Revak's in the building. I believe Tara Sweeney will be here. There may be a couple of other Republicans who show up, like John Coghill, who's also running. Yeah, running. All these who are running for Congress. So they're all trying to make
Santa Claus might show up.
No, he's a Democrat.
I know.
I don't think he's going to be showing up at this one. He's a lovely man. He lives nearby, but this is not his tribe, actually. So, well, for everybody, we're signing off for now from Must Read Alaska in Fairbanks, Alaska. Bye-bye.